In this clip, we review the changes in Google's algorithm in 2022 that impacted how Google assesses content. We also discuss what to expect from Google for content algorithm changes in 2023. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, please be sure to subscribe to our channel.
I will hand it off to Anna.
Thanks, Tim. So we're going to go over content and the Google algorithm. And there were a few algorithm updates related to content. The first one was a make core update to the algorithm. This is important for you to know that a core update is about improving, how Google assesses the content overall. They want to provide the best match for the query. So this update started around May 25th, finished in June 9. And what you need to know about this is that it's important to your law firm because law firms, like Tim said, are your money, your life websites. So focus on it, and focus on your money, your life. That's what's important about this make core update.
All right. The next update that impacted content was the helpful content update. It happened in August. And this one was, not part of the normal core updates. This was actually a big deal. This is a big change that Google's making into how they're ranking content. So this particular one came out at the end of August, finished in the beginning of September. The basic core of what this update was about was that Google wants content that is written for people, not search engines. So lots of content's out there on the web that's just written for ranking purposes, but doesn't actually provide any help. It's not really useful. So the big change here was they've taken their algorithm and they determined a little, they've gone through, they've looked at different content sets and they've determined which contents are written for people, which is just written for SEO. So you've got to sort of take that in place. Here are the issues that popped up. Spammy content that was AI generated, right? Repetitive content, things like that as well. Low value content, stuff that was just aggregated from other sites that really adds little and no value. So parts of that are similar to other issues Google's had beforehand, where they're trying to stop spammy content to show up, and they're trying to, not have certain content that looks like Mad Libs, right? You have Tampa, you have Clearwater, you have St. Petersburg, car accident lawyer pages, right? And they're all basically the same with no real value among them. But it's still a bit different because you could still actually have content that's good, but even if the content's good, but it looks like it's written for a search engine, that can actually harm you. So that's the big difference here. And I'll give a couple examples in a second. The other thing to note about this is a site-wide signal. So if you have too many of these pages that are primarily written for search engines and not written for people, your whole site is going to fall in the rankings. Even the pages that are really well written and that have nothing to do with search engine optimization, we weren't even trying to get those things to rank. Those pages will also fall. So you got to be a little careful here because if you go over a certain edge, and it's sort of a different level, as they sort of scaled up and scale it down, your entire site could fall because even pages that were totally non-spammed, just because you hit this sort of metric here, and Google decided that your whole site was basically about search engines and not about helping people. For lawyers, two basic things that we see with law firm websites. One, spam, right? They go through, they write the page, and the next thing you know, they have the word Miami car accident lawyer 20, 30 times on the page. Not good. So that might have worked for a while and might be a great page with content with just this extra, added SEO in there. But that's now triggering this sort of helpful content update parameter that Google set, and those pages are falling, and sometimes the whole sites are falling. We gave suggestions in our previous webinar on content about how to approach this. Our suggestions were not to use the exact same term every time. Don't use Miami car accident lawyer over and over again. Say Miami car accident lawyer, do auto accident lawyer in Miami lawyer that helps car crash victims. Use some different permutations of it so it doesn't read horribly spammy and people can actually read it. Doesn't read poorly. And only do that about every 150 to 250 words. We should not see that 30 times on a page. So when we look through our clients' websites as to which ones got hit by this particular helpful content update, it was obvious. It was those that did extra spamming on their pages. So you got to be careful of that, and you need to remove the spam. You remove it, Google's indexing this all the time. Eventually the penalty's lifted, and then you're back to where you were. But you have to fix this. The other thing that pops up, and you probably are on Facebook, you get this advertisement all the time if you're a lawyer, is AI generated content, where people are trying to use AI to generate legal pages. And the problem with that content is it's really bad. And sometimes it's wrong. So there are people that have used AI to generate content for law firm websites, and it's actually wrong on the law. We've worked with computer science departments at major universities that have been trying to use AI to figure out different areas of law, from regulations and codes and cases, and just other tertiary treaties and things like that. And the AI is not. This is not prime time. This is not ready to work. If you use AI to generate content, you'll get hit most likely with a penalty here, because it's obvious the wordsmithing and stuff doesn't match up with what a person would normally read. And you're also going to face the risk of being punished by Google for actually having the wrong information up. So don't use the AI stuff, for at least don't use it for your final draft. Go through and really fix it up and make sure it's correct. But I think the bigger issue here with lawyers, if you got hit at the end of August, beginning of September, look at your pages. And if they look like they're just made for Google and they look like they're spammed up, you need to start removing the spam and possibly removing some of the pages. Once you do that, then you'll pop back up. But you need to sit down and really go through your whole site and really think about what you've done. So this is a big deal. This is a brand new signal from Google, and it's now in the algorithm. And they want content for people, not for ranking and searches.
Then in September, we had another core update. This update was, it started around September 12th. It finished around September 26th. And this is, again, just a general core update about how Google assesses the content. If you have low quality content, then your website will probably was hit by this core update algorithm. So with that, we are going to go to some future predictions and recommendations with Gus.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. So, all right, let's talk about the future predictions that we have. What Google will focus on next year. Some recommendations. All right, so this is what we think is the future, right? So these search quality rating guidelines. This is actually, Tim talked about it at the beginning of the webinar, and more specifically, Google will continue to make changes to its algorithm using the information laid out in this document that they put together, right? Google created this particular document. Now, we actually have information about it in more detail on our previous webinar. So if you want to learn more about it, go to the previous webinars. There's some really good information. But just to give a little bit of context on why we think this is important and Google will focus on this going forward. I mean, in the future is Google hired an army of testers, right? So Google works with many people throughout the world. All they are doing is going to Google, they do the search, and they are reviewing all of the results coming up on the search results page. And they use these particular guidelines that Google created as the checklist to rate the different pages, right? So they go to each page and they mark the page as being high quality, or low quality, or whatever they see on the page. These guidelines is sort of a checklist for these testers to know if a page is good or not, right? These guidelines also get into how you can understand if the writer or the website is reputable, right? If the writer is an expert. So they go into all of these different details. And the reason why Google is doing this is they need all of this feedback from human beings, from these testers, to understand if they are doing a good job in the results they are showing for all of those queries, right? And based on that feedback that they are getting, they plan the next changes to the algorithm, right? Maybe they realize, what, for this set of queries, we're not showing good results, right? The majority of the feedback was not great. And now they plan, maybe let's introduce a new signal. Maybe let's do something to the algorithm to make sure the results are better next time. So this is great information because Google will never give you the recipe to the algorithm, but this is as close as we will get to that, right? This is what Google thinks of a high quality page, for example. You'll get that information from this particular document, right? Now the document also gets into detail on what Tim mentioned initially. So the document also talks about this particular type of pages, that your money or your life pages. Tim gave an overview of that. So these are the type of pages that matter for law firms. So that's also laid out on that particular document. Okay. So that's the guideline. So this is what Google is going to be focused on. So how do you get there? So how do you make sure your website, is seen as a high quality, as high quality content, right? On Google's eyes. You want to focus on providing, the best information out there, for the legal space, right? Write high quality content. Make it original, right? Do not copy from other sources. And of course, it has to be legally focused, right? We actually have a webinar on content, and we give a lot of tips that you can follow, right? We tell you how many words you need to write, how many times you want to incorporate the keywords on the pages. So there's a lot of information for the homepage and for the different internal pages that you will have on your site. So take some time to go to the previous webinar and check that information, because this is something that is super important to Google, right? So this is the one thing that you want to focus on.
All right,
Tim?
Yeah. So the next thing on content, and this probably really belongs in the display section of it, but since we're talking about content, because it's such a big deal, we wanted to cover it up front right now as well. And that is writing frequently asked questions. So on your website, you're going to add FAQs to different pages, maybe to all your pages, because Google is really focused on this right now. And they've made a few changes to what they're displaying in the last year or so, and certainly given a lot more prominence to people that have FAQs on their site. The first one that they've done is they've gone through the featured snippets, which have always been the sort of element that sort of seems to match up with what the query is at the very top of the page. And you'll find that the majority of these featured snippets these days, at least in the legal area, seem to be focused on questions and answers. So by doing an FAQ on your page, you can actually have an opportunity to be the featured snippet. If you want to know what you should write for it, you could go take a look at what's showing up, and you just need to write a better answer than what's there. Try normally to write the question and try to get the answer, in the first sentence or two. So that's one place that you can have FAQs. But the same FAQ that you write for your page can show up other places as well on the Google search results. Many of us have seen the people also ask section. So you go do many searches on Google, you'll see that people also ask. FAQs show up here as well. So again, you have the opportunity to show up within this section too, within the Google search results. And finally, this is another place that Google's also giving a presence for FAQs, is on your own organic listings. So they'll actually add a FAQ or two onto your organic listings that show up when you have a web page that's ranking. They'll give you more vertical height within those search results, and also increase your click-through rate. So it's something, Google's done this mainly because they want people sort of reading stuff on the search result pages. They want to sort of keep people on Google, and we get it. They're not necessarily going to your site to find it right away, but it's an opportunity that if you are the featured one, your click-through rates will be much higher. So you'll actually be better off. We get, there's going to be competition for sure, but you should certainly do it. People that actually want to hire lawyers, if they can read your answer, you're the best, sort of viewers of your website, they're much more likely to click on it. So it gives you a real opportunity to get clients as well. In terms of our recommendations for it, we recommend you write a basic question, what is this? And the answer should be, this is that. Should sort of the question and answer should sort of match up in terms of what's being asked. So make it short, try to get the answer within a sentence or two. We would say add 2 questions per page. So you have an opportunity for all your pages to have a couple questions and answers show up within the organic search results. From a technical standpoint, we recommend schema markup. We recommend that you use JSON LD. We get the lawyers won't know what that means, but certainly your provider should understand that. And really look out there and see what other questions are there and sort of get an idea what you can write about. And then look what the questions and answers are, and then write better answers. And if you do that, you're going to get a lot of traffic from this question and answer sort of promotion that Google does within their search results. So it's a pretty big thing right now. We're recommending it to all our clients, and we recommend it to everybody that's out there in the legal profession.
Thanks for watching. Now you better understand the changes that affected website content and why Google continued to punish low-quality websites. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more law practice and legal marketing videos. See you in our next video.